Hey guys, it's Austin from Know Your Music again, and I've got another review for you today. This time we're going to be talking about self-titled album from Daughtry, led by Chris Daughtry from American Idol fame. I think he was not even a runner-up on that show, but still made it pretty far, and went on to sell quite a few million records here, so good on him with his band. The band is called Daughtry. Anyway, musically on this album, what you're going to get is a range from maybe pop rock on this side, sort of guitar-driven pop rock on this side, all the way up to about as hard as Creed gets at their mellower times when they're playing, a non-ballad type song. So I don't really know how to better describe that to you. You're really looking at just a good, medium to almost hard rock record is what it is. The guitar solos, they're there. Pretty much every track on the album's got a guitar solo in it, but none of them are ear-piercing. None of them are too biting. There's even one where Slash from Guns N' Roses and Velvet Revolver plays, just solo on the song, and even that one is not too. It just doesn't. It's not screaming. It's not going to. It's not going to make your gums shake or anything like that. Aside from that, really that's about as hard as it gets. Like I said, with just the guitar solos, the guitars are a little bit crunchy in these songs, but they're not overly hard. That's it starts from there and just works its way down to some really good slow ballad type songs that really have a place on pop radio as opposed to rock radio. So it doesn't get any harder than that. It really doesn't get any more mellow than that either. I mean, if you could imagine I don't know, like your typical American Idol type singer, say like a Kelly Clarkson or somebody like that, but with real instruments, obviously, as opposed to the the synthesizers and the drum machines and so forth. Vocally, the album, the Chris Daughtry is an amazing singer. The guy has a range like few other men out there as far as rock singers go, and but the best thing about it is, or at least in my opinion, anyway, is that he doesn't scream, and he really doesn't yell. There are a couple of times where he definitely hits a higher register of his voice, and it gets to be a little bit gritty, a little bit gravelly. But aside from that, he's definitely not a yeller or a screamer or anything like that. So vocally, it's a very clean album. Lyrically, we'll take an in-depth look at the lyrics on this, what the songs are about. Track 1 is called It's Not Over, which was all over the radio for a little while. It was a big hit. Basically a song about trying to get a relationship back together after making a mistake of some kind. It does not necessarily mention what the mistake was. It doesn't really allude to cheating or anything like that, but you really don't understand. You don't know what the mistake is in the song. Track 2 is called Used To. Also a relationship song about the relationship sort of losing its luster, and the main singer, the person who's speaking in the song, just wants to get it back to the way it used to be. No profanity in that one either. Track 3 is called Home. It's a person talking about God's love for him and basically facing the end of his life, so he's on his way home, so to speak. Again, no profanity, good, just clean message all the way through there. Track 4, Over You. The song is full of metaphor in this one. It's basically a man being beaten up by a relationship, and sort of, falling apart when he comes to grips with the fact that it's over. No profanities. There's no alluding to anything sexual or anything of that nature. Lyrically, it is clean, but again, it's definitely a sad song. Track 5, Crashed. This one is basically living fast, kind of outrunning love, so to speak. And, the fact that even though the dude is trying to, or a girl, I guess a girl could be singing this as well, but it is Chris Daughtry on vocals. So even though you're trying to outrun love, it's going to catch up with you anyway, basically. Again, no profanities, no allusions to innuendos, nothing like that in there. Track 6, Feels Like Tonight, another big monster hit for this band. A man basically knows he's made mistakes in his life, but is very thankful that he can be forgiven for those mistakes. It does not have any, talk of Christianity or of God or anything like that in the song, but you definitely get the sense in the lyrics that that's where it's going. Obviously, in a song like that, there's no profanities. Track 7 is called What I Want. This is the track I mentioned earlier that has Slash playing the lead guitar, and again, like I said, it's not as heavy as you would think. It's a man wandering through life, basically thinking that everything's always going to be rough, kind of having a hard time with the way things are going, and basically, living his life that way until he meets that certain someone, that perfect girl, and basically changes that all around. So that's what that track is about, and again, another one with no profanities. As a matter of fact, as I sit here and just keep saying this over and over again, the album does not have profanities in it. Chris does not curse on this album, and so I can just kind of leave that out there for you. Track 8 is called Breakdown. If I'm not mistaken, this one was co-written with Brent Smith from Shinedown, and it really has that type of feel to it. The song sounds like something that Shinedown could have done. So if you're familiar with them, you kind of get an idea of what this track sounds like as far as how hard it is. Basically, a man is having a hard time with his relationship. He's kind of upset about it, but he's not willing to give up. He wants to keep trying, make it work, basically. Track 9, Gone is what it's called. Basically, someone who's been wronged, but finds prayer to help get back on track and make things okay. Basically, he's learning to forgive and to also be forgiven. Track 10 is called There and Back Again. It's about basically taking a chance to do something to better your life and not worry about it. Sort of a don't worry about having to look back later on. Basically, the way I would take that a little bit further is if you don't take a chance, you're just not going to know what blessings are out there for you. And that's kind of what I get from this song. Track 11, All These Lives. This one's a little bit harder lyrically. It's basically about abuse, and sometimes, understandably, in my opinion, sometimes that needs to be talked about. It is kind of graphic, but it doesn't go into anything, like I said, explicit. It's done in metaphors, so it's something that, listening to it with, say, a young kid, you might actually have to explain what some of the lyrics mean. But at the same time, you might be able to use that as a, sort of a springboard into a conversation that eventually will probably need to happen, as these things do need to be talked about sometimes. As far as I'm concerned, anyway, that's just my opinion. What About Now, the last track on the album, basically trying to keep love alive, trying to keep a relationship together, so to speak, before it becomes too late, before you go too far. And that is the way this one wraps up. Like I said, this one sold a lot of copies. I think we're up to 6 million here in the U.S. on this one, and there's a reason for that. I mean, there's really a place for this on pop radio and rock radio, and there's also a place for it in your home if you are looking for something that's not too abrasive musically, vocally, or lyrically. My opinion, but I just want you to know your music. That's why I'm here. Give me some comments, give me some requests. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to request in the comments, you can do that. You can also do it on email at knowyourmusicnow@yahoo.com, and let me know what you think. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search Know Your Music, and the same logo that shows up on the video page here will also be on the Facebook. You can find it there. Again, Daughtry, self-titled album, debut album from the band from 2006. I'd give this one a thumbs up, a total thumbs up. I've got 5 kids at home, and I have no problem at all playing this album in front of them. And anyway, that's pretty much where we're going to wrap this one up. Like I said, thank you for watching, and like and comment, and we'll see you guys on the next review.